Hey guys, I know I said that I wasn't gonna do another video from my phone and I was gonna do them all on my camera. They were gonna be so beautiful and so professional. Um, but the idea of getting up and getting my camera right now sounds like death, so I'm not gonna do that. Um, it's my day 3 in China. Things have been wild from start to finish. And it started with not being able to find a printer and ended with me being in the hospital for a little bit. I'm fine, it's just my foot. I'll tell you guys about it. But I'm okay. I'm not in the hospital now. I'm just in my hotel room, laying in bed. I have just recently realized that the stuff the doctor gave me I can't take because it makes me sick. So I'm just gonna live through it. My boss gave me some stuff that will work. But yeah, so step one, got off the plane, immediately needed to use the bathroom. Saw my first non-Western toilet. Used that. It was not as bad as everyone made it seem. Chinese toilets are perfectly fine. Um, like it's cool. The plane ride was fine. There were lots of instructional videos, like there were TVs on the back of the seats. Instructional videos about what to do when you landed and going through customs and that kind of thing. So that was like super helpful, and the food was good, and there was a really nice person next to me who like wanted to know about what I was gonna do, and we talked about he went to Universal like on his trip to Florida and stuff. So it was a good flight. Um, the squatting toilet wasn't that bad. Got my bags. Met the driver. Took me to the hotel. And when I get to the hotel, like I was like, oh, it's like 12 in the afternoon. I'm gonna take like a brief nap, and then I'm gonna go out and explore the city. And I slept like the whole day, like I slept like until nighttime, like until like 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and like I didn't feel that tired. It was just I had been sleeping on a futon for a little bit since we had moved out of the apartment, so apparently my body was like a bed. We're staying in it, and just slept all day. But then that night I thought I forgot something. I thought I forgot some paperwork, it's just I apparently had like an unofficial copy of it. Like my foreign liaison officer had the real copy once I met her the next day, but I didn't know that at the time. So I'm like desperately trying to find a printer to print off this document, and um, and so like I'm going around with my little electronic translator, like printer, like trying to find one, because the website said they had a business center here, and they didn't have any recollection of that. So like I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But yeah, so keep switching hands here. Sorry. Um, so yeah, I couldn't find that. I was super frustrated with not being able to communicate. Not at them. They were like super sweet and like they were trying. It's just I studied so much before I came, and like I learned so much, and I definitely know more Chinese than either of the other girls that came with us. So like clearly I put in the work. It's just it still wasn't enough, and I know that like there's no way I could have been fluent or something before coming over. It's just no matter how much you prepare, you're always like, man, I wish I had prepared even more. um but yeah, so that was super frustrating, and then I woke up the next day to find out that, oh, you're fine, like you didn't actually need to worry about that. I have the original, and I'm like, okay, cool. So then we go to the bank, and she has to leave us for just a little bit, but she's like, this bank's great, like they have no problem, like they get it done really quickly. And we hit lots of snags, and we couldn't communicate, and my liaison officer was with another person helping them set up their bank account, and she was coming back to us, but like we had her on the phone. She was like, oh, I can translate over the phone, like just give them the phone. And they were like, no, 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 we can do it, we got this, like. And they were just trying to like help and do really good, and we just couldn't communicate. Again, like it was just me being like, I'm a dumb American and I don't know your language. I'm sorry that I came to your home and I don't know your language. Like it's but at no point were they like rude or anything to us. They just what we have here is a failure to communicate, you know what I mean? But eventually Rebecca came back. She solved it in 10 seconds. And that Rebecca's the foreign liaison officer. And she solved it in 10 seconds, got her bank accounts, whatever. That was just like really stressful because, not being able to communicate, all these people were waiting in line, they were getting frustrated, and whatever. Apparently the guy that usually does the foreign accounts was just sick that day. And so these guys like just were like, we don't know how to do this, but we're gonna do it for you because they don't want us to have to come back or whatever. Like, truly, everywhere I go, everyone's doing their best to try and be as accommodating as possible. It's just stressful. It's just stressful to not be able to get your point across or understand what they're saying to you, just because you don't know the language. You know what I mean? So then after that, we went to get our cell phones, and Verizon was right in that the network worked on my phone, but the data did not. So it made basically any like maps or stuff like kind of things that I use on my phone completely useless. Like I could only use them with Wi-Fi. So like even if I took an Uber, like the whole Uber ride, I wouldn't have any data. And I was like, no, I can't deal with that. I'm just gonna have to get another phone. And so Rebecca took me to get a phone. I mean, she's like, everyone that works for EF has been so helpful, so sweet. The girls that, the other two girls that I'm teaching with or whatever, they're super sweet. I mean, it's been nothing but really, really awesome things, really good things. I have no bad things to say about any of them. They're such all great people. It's just mind blowing how sweet they are. But so we went, and I had to pay for a cell phone, whatever. But it wasn't that expensive. It was way less than it would have been in the United States. Way cheaper. And it's a great phone, so like that's fine. And so then that night, the girls decided they wanted to go to get hot pot, and like I said, I know the most, I read the most, and I speak the most. Not saying that means I can survive, but like I know like survival level, and that's about it. And so they taught us like the Chinese characters for hot pot earlier in the day, and the first one is like the symbol for fire, which I already knew that one. So I was like, oh, okay, I know that one. I just don't remember the one for pot most of the time. But one of the girls that I was going with also remembered the one for fire. She didn't know it ahead of time. She just had learned it that day and was like, okay, I'm gonna find the fire symbol. I'm gonna find the fire symbol. And I was like, well, guys, like, hot pot's not always in the name. Like the place could be called Good Food, but it's hot pot. But we finally, after searching and searching and searching, we find a place that does hot pot, and this is where things get wild. So we get in there and they don't speak English, but I've got my little translator app or my little electronic thing, and I'm like, what do you recommend? And they were like, oh, okay. So they start marking off stuff they want us to try, and I was like, bula bula, which means not spicy. And so I was telling them, but like in Chongqing, everything is spicy. So when you say not spicy, they think not spicy for them. And what we were eating was still pretty spicy. Special shout out to Kathleen and Kevin for getting me to eat non-white people food for so long now, and training me for this, because the other girls were having a pretty rough go of it. And I was like, fine, like I was good. I was eating it, no problem. It was definitely spicy, but like I could make it through, and I think it's surely because Kathleen and Kevin have been feeding me Chinese food for the year that I've lived with them. So I was okay. But yeah, I was trying to communicate with the waiter. Like we got there eventually, or not even the waiter, the manager spoke a little bit of English. So he was like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna use my English. And he seemed like so excited to like be able to help us and like be able to use his English that he's been studying or whatever. So that was really cool. But like we're like translating back and forth, and some things just don't translate. We didn't learn one of the things that we ate until today. It was like the lining of a cow intestine or something. It was crazy. Like there's one thing that I knew, it was liver, because we made that at the science center. We put that in a blender all the time, so I knew that it was liver just from looking at it. But there was a lot of like flowers and things like that you ate with it. They were really good. Everything was really good, even with the trouble with the spiciness. Like everybody like really enjoyed it. It was really good food. But like the waiters and waitresses and stuff, once they realized that we didn't know what we were doing and we had never had hot pot and stuff, they started like throwing stuff in for us, like cooking it for us, showing us how to cook it and like how long to cook it and stuff. And like the manager was like saying, oh, this one cooks for 15 seconds, then you can take it out. Like, it's not like the meat takes a long time and that kind of stuff. But they were getting such a kick out of Americans. We were trying to hit more of local places than like a chain or anything like that. So we had a very local place that was like hopping with a lot of the locals, but we haven't seen that many foreigners in the first place. You know what I mean? We haven't seen very many Americans or British people or anything like that. So there was no one in there, and I don't think they came there very often because they were snapping pictures of us constantly. And then the guy was like, the manager wrote us a little note and was like, I can give you a 20% discount if we can take pictures with you. And I was like, of course you could. Yeah, that's fine. So he gave us a discount so they could take pictures with us, and we took some pictures with them. One of the other girls has the photos. I'll get them from her and post them later. But yeah, but it was just like, after having all that stress, like, it was stressful that I was having such a hard time communicating with him, but like, that part was at least a lot of fun. Like, it was very funny. Like, it's a story you can always tell. Yeah, people were treating us like celebrities at a hot pot place because we just like, we went for it day one. We were like, we're gonna get hot pot. But yeah, so that is the wacky hot pot part of it. And then today, like, everything was normal until I tripped coming out of a restaurant. There was a step down. They had a tape on the floor that said watch your step in English. I just wasn't looking down. I was looking straight, and I just ate it. I mean, I went all the way down. I hit my knees, like, because I landed like on my knees and on my hands, and I think I hit my ankle on the step of, like, the step down that I missed or something. I can't remember. It was too painful, and I was too horribly embarrassed at the time because literally everyone was there. Like, my boss of another school, our foreign liaison officer that I talked about, Rebecca, the two girls that I teach with, like, everyone important was there, and I just ate it. I just ate it in front of all of them. And it was super embarrassing, and it was like, when I got up, like, my knees hurt, but my ankle didn't hurt that bad. I was like, I can walk, I'll be fine. But as I started to walk, and like, they were like, okay, let's do a tour of the school, because like, we were right across from my school. My school's in a mall, which is really neat. Got a lot of shopping around me, of like Western shopping, so like Sephora and Victoria's Secret and stuff like that, so that's cool. So they walked me over to there. And as I'm walking around the school, it's getting like increasingly painful to walk and stand. And I'm like, the adrenaline's wearing off. Okay, okay. And so then by the time we finish just the briefest tour, I mean 10 minutes, I go outside and I sit down at Starbucks and I text Rebecca and I'm like, hey, is there somewhere I can get my ankle just checked out, like first aid, like super, just really quick, easy peasy? And she's like, where are you? And I'm like, I'm at the Starbucks in front of the school. So she comes out there and she sits with me and she looks at it. And I mean, the thing's just swelling up immediately. And I was like, oh, yeah, but it's not changing colors or anything like that. So, like, we're like, okay, it's probably not broken, but like, they want me to go to the hospital to make sure, because even when I'm not standing on it anymore, like, it still hurts, like bad. So they're like, all right, we're gonna go to the hospital. So they found me this cane. Somebody else I work with, I guess, I don't know if they had something done and they used his cane for a little bit or what, but they're like, oh, so-and-so is going to bring his cane. And I was like, does he use it? Like, I don't want to take his cane from him, because like, it was really hard for me to walk, like, to the point where I was like pretty sure I couldn't make it to the hospital. Like, it was right up the street. I wasn't even sure if I could make it to the taxi to get up the street. Like, it was rough. And so, like, my boss comes out there and he's like, yo, happy 2 days in China. I can't believe this happened. Like, I'm so sorry. But, like, super nice. Everyone was, like, so helpful. They, like, got me ice and all this stuff. And, like, I'm so embarrassed at this point, but they're being nothing but just amazing. And so, yeah, eventually after, like, an hour of figuring things out and getting the cane and all that stuff, they take me to the hospital. They get an x-ray. My admin from my school stayed with me the whole time and translated, like, she was incredible. She was like my knight in shining armor. Like, she was so sweet and like stayed there the whole time. And we had to wait an hour for that x-ray to develop on my ankle. Like, it was so much. But thankfully, he kind of looked at it. He said, well, it's not broken. But from what I could understand of what he was trying to tell my admin was telling me, my admin was translating like the best that she could, but apparently some things just don't translate. So like, she was just, she was doing her best, and I was trying to communicate back, and I wasn't doing a very good job. She was doing much better, and like basically saying something's wrong with the ligament, like it might be torn up or something like that. And so I kind of read that as like, I'm like, okay, so like a really, really bad sprain, or maybe just like a tear, like, but maybe it'll heal up and I'll be okay. So the guy's like, you want pain medicine? I'm like, yeah, that'd be great. And he's like, okay. And then he used the word plaster, and he kept using the word plaster, and she was like they were trying to find the word for it in English, but they couldn't find it. So they just kept translating like different phrases, and Google just kept putting them up as plaster. And so I was like, so a cast? And they were like, no, no, not a cast, but there's so many meanings of cast. I'm not sure my meaning was getting across, because when I put it in Google Translate, cast was not coming up as the right thing. I tried foot cast and that kind of stuff. Like I tried a bunch of different things and nothing was translating. But from what I understood, it was going to be like a plaster, like cast, like for 3 weeks. But you know, I looked at the X-ray too, and you know, he showed me. He was like, "See, nothing's broken." So I was like, "Okay, like as far as my medical knowledge goes, which is clearly less than this guy's, you know, but like as far as my knowledge goes, I don't think I have to have a cast for this. I think I can just wear like, you know, a wrap or something and just struggle through it, you know, and use the walking stick, use some painkillers, whatever, and like because I have a wrap like in my suitcase somewhere. I haven't found it yet, haven't tried. Um, yeah, but so like I was like, okay, like I'm just gonna wrap it. Like I don't need the cast. It's fine. Like we got downstairs and I asked her again. I was like, "Is this a permanent cast? Like the hospital has to take it off?" And like we were having trouble communicating. So I was like, "You know what? Like I'm just not gonna do it. Like I'll just take the pain medicine and I'll go. Like it's fine. Like I'll just wrap it. If it's not broken, I'm good." Um, and so maybe not the best choice. I don't know. We'll find out. You know, going against medical orders here, but I you know I think I'll be okay. I think it should be fine. Um, but yeah, so now I'm like instructed, like I'm supposed to go apartment hunting these 2 days, and now I'm going to have to just lay here for the next 2 days. I have time next weekend to apartment hunt, and it's very, very, very easy to find stuff here. I mean, you can go find it same day and then sign your contract, have the apartment 2 days later. Like it's no big deal at all. It's, you know, I can totally wait and I'm totally fine. I just hate that this happened now, and I hate that I hurt my foot and I can't go anywhere. And everyone's been so nice. Like, you know, Rebecca's been like, "I'm gonna bring you breakfast tomorrow," and all stuff. I'm like, "No, like, don't worry about me. I'm so embarrassed," and like everything's fine. But yeah, so I'm gonna be laid up in bed for the next 2 days. So if you guys need any company, you can talk to me or whatever. We are in a 12-hour time difference, so I can't guarantee I'll be awake. But I'm 12 hours ahead, so yes, but you can try. You can send me stuff and I'll try and respond whenever I can. Um, if any of you want to be able to like text me, um, you get the app WeChat. It's free. You use your phone number and just let me know that you have it, and I'll add you on there. WeChat's the big thing here. Texting is the only thing that like doesn't come on my phone plan. I have to pay extra for it. I think I get international calling, but I think it's expensive. I'm not sure. I have to check. But like if you need me, best way to reach me is online, and get WeChat if you want to be able to text. But yeah, so that's been my crazy 3 days in China. Thank you guys for all the well wishes and the prayers and the thoughts and everything. I'm gonna be fine. It's just excruciatingly painful. When I'm in bed, it's not too bad. When I have it elevated, you know, I can ignore it. It's fine. It's just when I walk, I just like, oh, it's really bad. It's really painful. It's really bad. And I have a pretty high pain tolerance, so when it hurts, I'm like, this is really not good because I really don't respond to pain like at all. But yeah, but like I'm gonna be fine. Everyone here is like taking care of me. They're like, "Oh, let me bring you food," and Rebecca was like sending me like how to set up the app and like to get food delivered straight to my room, and was like, "Oh, here it is in English and Chinese, so you can set it up on the app and stuff." Like they've been amazing. They're lifesavers. They're so great. It's just wild that this happened, you know. So yeah, stressful first 3 days. But I found out I'm gonna live in this district, the Jiangbei district, which is like the center of town, and it's very artsy and cool. So I'm very excited for that. And I don't know. We'll see what happens. Man, would if this is how it's starting, I'm interested to see where it goes. I love you guys, and I'll see you later.